Hi and welcome to another podcast, another Authors Tuesday episode. I'm joined by Linda LaRouche. I hope that got that correct.
Yes.
All the way coming from Canada. So you're very welcome along today, Linda. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Hi. I'm silly with the fingers. Hi. So I'm in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. Northern Ontario. It's 4 hours from Toronto going north. Can you hear me?
Great stuff. I can hear you fine, yeah. I can hear you grand.
Good.
Really good. Yeah, so you're very welcome onto the show. Thanks a lot for coming on.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Great stuff. And do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, just about your writing and the books that you've wrote? They're really great. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah.
All right. So my name's Linda LaRouche, formerly known as Linda Thibault. Before that was Linda Nardi. I've been widowed and remarried and had children, inherited children. I went to school in my 40s and got a gerontology degree, but realized I'm an empath. So I went back and took ECE and became an early childhood educator. So during that period of time, I had lots of stuff swirling in my head. I've had a very interesting life. My sister kind of says, run, Forrest, run, when it comes to me. I'm a neurotic, eccentric, creative, artistic. I've got a handle on a lot of those now, but the creativity is there. Where was I? Okay, so anyways, I decided to put my story into a book, and it took me 7 years of writing on my lunch, writing in my sleep, writing little snippets here and there. And I went back to look at it and realized I started editing, and then I talked to a friend who has another friend who writes, and he said, just keep writing and writing and don't go back. So I did. I just kept writing and writing and writing. And then once I went back, I started putting it into little, into the right format. So I deleted 305 pages because I had like 600 and some pages of stories, because I have a memory back to 4 years old, and I was the one climbing the slag hills looking to stick a stick in the slag being poured. That was what I did when I was young. I was caught up there many times. So anyway, so I wrote this story, and the name of the book came to me right off the bat. It's called Surviving Me, an Outsider Story. And I always felt like an outsider. And I've always been surviving me. I've survived and I'm still surviving. But that name came to me like tickety-boo right off the bat. And I went under the name Tina Calabria. This book is available off Amazon. I use Trafford Publishing. There are mistakes in it. And that was a nightmare. Editing was the worst part of writing a book. But that's okay, because my life has some mistakes in it. And I'm human. And if anybody's gonna laugh at me for mistakes, you're reading it for the wrong reason, because the content is there. It's funny. It'll make you go, what the? It'll make you laugh your bum off, and it'll be some hair-raising stories, because I've had quite the life. I was one of the things, I was widowed quite young. And when I was very young, I tried to kill myself because I didn't like who I was. So, there's quite a story there, but it's put into an inspirational form. I researched the heck out of everything and added the stuff that I did, because I'm proactive. I crawled out of that hole and I used the strategies, and I wrote about the strategies in the book, along with a lot of fun stories. So that's how I got to that. But this book, I sold most copies here in town, sold about 200 copies. So I'm happy with that. I didn't do it to get rich. I did it to get it out of my head so I can move on with my life. So this book healed me. It's my magical book. It healed me. Anyways, that book freed this brain up, because I'm neurotic, and I'm let's not say neurotic, ADHD, always thinking, lots of things going on up there, hyper. It freed my brain up from all those stories that I've been carrying around telling people, because there's lots of little stories, lots of little Linda stories. It freed my brain up. People kept saying, what are you going to write next, Linda? What are you going to write next, Linda? And I'm like, I'll come up with something. I was thinking of all these little things. I was thinking a grandma in the attic who takes kids on adventures, and, this and that and that and this. And then teaching in class, kindergarten kids, singing my favorite song. Fill me up, fill me down. You go through all the little digits, and the last one I do a little diaper change, and we have to sniff them, and it's stinky, and it's like really funny. But when I come to Tall Man, sometimes in the back of the row, I get, that's the bad finger. So I went, oh my goodness. I said, let's stop right now, okay, kids? I said, you think Tall Man was born bad? No. Do you think he's a bad guy? No. Well, he was given a bad rap his whole life. He can't even stand up. He's always going to have somebody standing up with him whenever it's his turn to sing a song, because there's lots of finger songs. He's always going to have somebody stand up because otherwise he gets bullied. So then I started, so now I'm known up to grade 8 because I've been teaching at the Catholic board for 10 years, kindergarten, only kindergarten. I know I talk fast.
No, you're grand. Yeah.
It's come to me in the hallway. Oh, Miss Linda, Tall Man, you always need somebody to stand. I'm like, well, yes, he does. Like, I don't want to introduce kids to the middle finger, but there's something to be said about this Tall Man who's always bullied. So he's in the story. He's in my. Okay, so I came up with this book. Okay, so before I show you that, I'll say a teacher said, Miss Linda, you got to put that in the story. You're a writer. So I went, oh my, how am I going to wrap this around my head? Tall Man, the bullied finger, this, that, this. I made a little book that day, a little flip book, called it the bully finger. And then I went, oh, that doesn't make sense. So I played with that. And then 6 years went. Oh, and then I wanted to illustrate it. And I tried to hire illustrators, pay them when the book comes out, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's too busy, not hire, ask people. Everybody's too busy with their life. So I went, I used to draw when I was young. Let's put the pencil to the paper and start sketching. So I did. I came up with all kinds of things. Let me get this guy. And I came up with this, the Finger Family.
Cool.
And it's a 9-story. And this is Sudbury. We have Science North. We have our Valley Towers there for the mining, the Big Nickel, the water tower. We have this hospital that's very, very brightly painted. And these used to carry flour. And there's Tall Man. He's got his headset because guess what? He's now autistic. Halfway through writing my book, I had a grandson born with autism. He's now 7 years old. He's the apple of my eye. He's taught me so much and so many. And being in kindergarten, the children are very nice and kind, but they don't know yet. They're being integrated in these children. In Canada, they're integrating maybe in Ontario, they're integrating the children with these diversities into the classroom. And other children don't understand. So I go, no. Anybody, I know you guys know what autism is. Oh yeah, my cousin's autistic. Oh, okay. So I have a little blurb in here about autism for children.
Great stuff.
So there's 9 stories and the stories are pretty funny. One is called The Fart and it's from good old Canadian Beans. And I chose one of my misprinted books here. It's upside down. Yeah. So one is like, inside my book, I have a hand that you can do your own. So anyways, the reason why I wrote this, I turned to autism was because it's a very important thing right now. People need to talk more about it. And it's lots of children are very diverse and they are quite diverse and it's neurological. Yeah. Anyways, once I produced this book and did all the illustrating and sold copies, I donated money to 2 families in Sudbury with children with autism. And once I paid off my debt, and I vow that if this book ever becomes popular, I'm going to start a foundation called the Make It Rain Foundation for All Children. And anybody who knows me knows I'll do it because I am a baby philanthropist. I don't have a lot of money. That's why I say baby. Yeah, so that's that in a nutshell. But I know that there's more questions you'd like to ask me.
Yeah, no, that looks absolutely brilliant. That's really, really good because you sent me 2 animation videos as well to go with them stories. Right. Yeah, I had like I might share them on the show notes as well for you.
I would love you to share them. Yeah, I would love you. I came up with this animation and I came up with the theme song, Tickety Boo, and the kids love all this stuff. But guess
it's really great.
The problem is I self-published both my books. I went through an American company for the first. I decided to do it on my own. But and now I'm sending it to traditional publishers because I really think well, listen, I would like to tell you something. The origin of the Finger Family rhyme is currently unknown, but on November 25th, 2007, not very long ago, on the internet, Li Suk, a teacher in China, uploaded a video called The Finger Family. It's you just YouTube The Finger Family. There's so many varieties and kids love The Finger Family. She uploaded her video of doing this to her students. It has now become viral and it's still going viral. It's so popular. So I decided to bring them to life because they can teach, and they ride around on a skateboard called the Tickety Boo.
It's great.
Now I have an idea for my next book. It's going to be the Toe Family with Grandpa Archie, okay? And they're going to ride around on a hoverboard, and they're going to meet. And also I have a story about COVID. They go to the same, what happened in March 2000, what are we now, 22, so 2020, when COVID hit, I was in school, I was on a contract, and I was writing this book, illustrating this book and test reading it to children, and they were making me handprints, and we had to close everything down and blah, blah, blah. So I wrote the Finger Family. They did exactly what we did. And they went in shopping, and they got lots of toilet paper too, just like we. Yeah, so I wrote that into it. I wrote the stuff in my book that the children need to learn about. So listen, Meet the Family, of course, the first story.
Yeah.
Camping, because we do lots of camping. A finger food costume party, because they teach about food. The big COVID shutdown. Lunchroom follies, because kids really need to know about lunchroom rules. Polly gets her tonsies out, because even grandmas get their tonsies out. And Respect the Bubble, because we need that bubble, and it's getting bigger. Stink Eye, because that's my bully story, Stink Eye. I didn't like the word bully, so Stink Eye. And that's what you do with a bully. You give them the stink eye, and you stand up for your friend. You don't have to get in right in there, but you can give them the stink eye. So when the kids do this middle finger thing, and I stop, I do a little, sometimes I do a little role plays, and I say, okay, you do this. Nah, you're not funny. And the other one, give them the stink eye. Learn to do the stink eye.
Great stuff. That's brilliant.
I think it's hilarious, and in the old days we wouldn't think that appropriate, but really it's down to earth time. Kids in kindergarten, it's down to earth time. They can do something too, right? They can stand up for each other. They don't have to get in the ring.
Yeah, great message there. Great message, like for children. That's brilliant. Yeah,
that's just one message. There's the autism message, and the differences message. I wrote that in there. How Sister Finger used to get her hair pulled by brother-in-law and pinched. And guess what? Every time I visit my grandson, I get pinched and my hair pulled, but it's his communicating.
Yeah.
He's pinching grandma because he loves her.
Exactly.
Not like a so
brilliant.
Yeah, it's
brilliant,
a lot of fun. I love this little book. I really hope it makes it so that I can make it rain for all children. I do this all for the children. Everything I do is for the children. I have 4 of my own. I was widowed and remarried, and they were 3, 6, 9, and 12 when we got together. And now I have 3 grandchildren and 2 on the way. And I just threw a baby shower yesterday, and I said, I'm an ECE, early childhood educator. I got this. And that's true. Yeah,
great stuff,
you want your kid to be with me.
You do. Great, Linda. And where did the journey begin for yourself as well? Like, have you always been a writer? Have you always written yourself? I've
always dabbled in art. I've gone through painting. I paint skulls. I do plasticine art. I've got a creative mind. And the writing was a source of release for me. The first book. Yeah, I thought I'm gonna put this out. I'm not gonna make it inappropriate. Maybe when I'm in my 80s, I'll write that book. But I'm gonna make it appropriate so anybody can read it. It's a self-help book. It's mostly for women, but because I'm a woman. But and then the other book, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Sorry, no, you're grand. I just said, like, where did the journey begin for you? Like, have you always been a writer?
It began in my 40s, because part of my story is when I went to college, when I finally said, okay, I'm going to go to college. Well, that ensued that followed by a burnout, because I started working at the Mental Health Association with the seniors and the homeless, and found out I'm an empath, and I crashed and I burned, and I embarrassingly backed out without even telling them. And that was a big learning. And the burnout, holy moly. Holy Mother of Moses, I want to buy you roses. That taught me so much. Burnouts, you lose everything. You think you're a marshmallow, a mush. I'm outgoing, and I couldn't even go in public. Well, I got myself better, and I did what I needed to do, and I was proactive and took meds, and it helped. And I came out of it slowly, and I did little jobs, and I worked my way back up. And that's when I, really found who I was. And I don't have to prove anything anymore, because they thought I was stupid. They thought I was slow when I was young, but I wasn't. I was neurotic, creative, eccentric.
Yeah.
People didn't understand that in the 60s.
No,
So,
no.
they didn't.
It,
I just didn't learn that way. I had to go to college in my 40s to really, and I got straight A's, like, a good GPA. But then I went, wee, and spiraled out of it. And then for the ECE, I'm like, this one, I'm not doing that. And I still got like 3.6 and good marks. But I'm a nurturer from heart, because I had my first baby at 18, my second at 22, with my first husband, Dennis, who was my childhood sweetheart, who got leukemia 7 years into our little marriage and died 7 years later. So I was taking care of him and nurturing, and I had no education. I had to go back and get an education. It's a long story, but has a good end.
Great stuff, yeah.
Over.
No.
Far from over. Listen, I've been saying I'm gonna live to 100 since I was a child. I've got it up to 115 now.
Yeah, push it forward 150.
Yeah, maybe they say the human can actually go to 127. So I'm Italian. My relatives from Calabria, so I think I have a shot. And I'm on my second husband, and I may have a whole slew of tombstones by the end. And this is a running joke in the family.
Yeah. No, it's a great point you make there, Linda. It's a great point you make, like, because if they taught every child the same, like, not everybody learn, because everybody learns differently, doesn't they?
Oh no, my husband said to me, I just read something. They say every time you like do something silly with a child or off, not inappropriate, but you create more nerve endings, and our brains are plastic. And cognitive therapy. I've been a cognitive therapist all my life on myself. It's called being proactive and doing what you need to do, and not doing this.
Exactly.
Don't do this in life. Face realities. Get the help you need. Forgive, forget, ask for forgiveness. For little thing that you carry all your whole life. Ask forgiveness, and then let it go. It's just such a wonderful process when you do it. So, and also, one of the questions is book. What books? What books? Well, I'll tell you one book. I'm going to hide something there, but it's this book. It really taught me a lot. The art of how not to, what to choose to give about. And that's a little bit of a crude way to say it, but really, when you think about it, you gotta choose what to give about. Otherwise, you'll go nuts like I did for a while. So yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I love all them kind of books as well. I love all the like. I've listened. I've read that one. Teaching Excellence by Kate Benson, which is a great one as well, because it teaches.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Kate, have you read that one? It's a really good book, like, for different ways to teach your children, like,
Oh yes. My husband always says there's going to be a nation of lawyers and doctors or whatever out there. They're going to go, oh, what's wrong with your neck? And oh, let me play with those guys, and all those little sayings that I use with the children. I have a different language with them, and it's okay. Your kids aren't going to grow up talking like I do.
Yeah.
They just like Robert Munch. Look at him. Actually, they call me in the hall. Oh, look at it's Roberta Munch. Oh my goodness. Am I that annoying? Just kidding.
Yeah.
I always say, listen, I could be annoying, but in a good way. But I know when to be annoying and when not. And when I mean annoying, I mean funny. With
exactly.
hanging off my ankles. So they love it, right?
Yeah, you got to send me the links. I've got links to your book, and you've got a really good website as well. Linda, did you do that website yourself, or did somebody do that for you? Oh my
goodness. That was such a hard. I had people helping me. I'm very good at advocating for myself, and I'm a very kind, nice person, and I help a lot of people. I'll go and move you. I'll do whatever I need. I'll clean your house. I'll cook your food. I'm that type of person, right? So I have some good friends who recognize that and believed in this finger family adventure thing. Because when I'm in it, I'm in it. But I burned myself out, and I took the summer off, and I'm done. I'm grandma with 3 kids, 2 on the way. I'm choosing what to about.
Yeah.
I didn't go out and try and rah. This book is so great. I love it. It's like my, you know what it is? It's like when you're in a university, it's my thesis.
Yeah, great stuff.
That's what it is. And when I die and I'm gone, it's not going to be surviving me that's popular. It's going to be the Finger Family Adventures. So,
great stuff.
It has so much to offer, and I'm willing to let it offer out to the world. It's not about you know, my husband and I downsized 5 years ago when we sold our big family home. I had a tiny little house, a little modular home in the bush, close to the grandkids, where they could walk through the bush to come see grandma and grandpa.
Great.
Less is more.
Yeah.
It really,
Oh,
truly
big time. Yeah.
and also clears my brain, less junk.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I was going to ask you about your strategy. Like it sounds like you have a good strategy there for what you're writing. Do you kind of space it out like for writing? When do you find the time to write?
Yeah, I space it out. I have to, because I have you know, life. I'm a mother and a grandma and a wife, and you know, I don't work full time. I'm down. We downsized, so I was able to go part time and do supply work and free my brain up and be able to clean my house and cook nice suppers, because I like doing that. You know, I took care of my first husband for 7 years, and raised my children and went to school. Now I had to go to Toronto. So my kids had many different babies. It was a nightmare. So I'm reaping that. I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren because I'm making up time. I missed, they were 3 and 6 when he was diagnosed, and 9 and 12 when he died. That was hard. So I'm making up for it. But my strategy is to like get good rest, drink water, eat good food, you know, don't do drugs, don't smoke cigarettes, get out and walk, be funny, dance, sing, you know,
Brilliant.
And you know, like I said, this book chose me. The Finger Family Adventures chose me. It truly chose me. And it started with Tall Man needing his family member. And then my little Dennis was born in that. And now I work in kindergarten and I see these, they have EAs. Yes, they're wonderful, but it's not it's just, it's great. It's good. They're going to learn from the diverse and the non-diverse. We'll learn from each other. But the children don't know. The other children, they don't know, so maybe they need to know. Maybe they want to know, right?
Yeah, because there's so much different. There's so many different forms of autism as well. Of autism, like you know, because by the message you're giving is great. Like for to find out that young, isn't it? It's so good to find out that young.
Well, my grandson was diagnosed at 1.5 years old. He was just a baby. Well, his other grandmother is an an educational assistant. She took care. She practically raised them in school. And I'm an early childhood educator. Like the kids follow me like the Pied Piper. They say, "Come see the show." When these children come in, "Hey guys, come see the show." I'm the show. I can instruct 300 kids like nothing, but doing math, not very good at math. Well, maybe kindergarten math. But
that's great. Because I'm looking forward to like getting your book as well from my son, because he's the youngest. 5 is my youngest, so like he loved the animation. Who done the animation for you? That little video.
Well, really it's my friend Ken Wilson, and he's on my Facebook. We got to add each other, and he's out there, and he's an up and coming animator, and I was one of his first. One of his first, like he's come a long way since then. But you know, for me, a kid's book, I read a lot of books. It's all about bright colors, short, funny stories. You know, I know what kids like, and so that's what the video and the song is all based on. Do you want me to sing my song? It's short.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, brilliant.
Tickety-boo, tickety-boo. Hop aboard the tickety-boo, tickety-boo, tickety-boo. The Finger Family wanna get to know you. Ding!
Brilliant. That's great. Because that's with the video, isn't it? That goes along with the video.
Yeah, I went to a little studio and I did a little singing, and it was just really fun. I've never done that before, so it was quite fun. You know, I had so much fun illustrating this thing. I could illustrate all day long. You know, this is what kids can't open in their lunch. Everything, and I even showed it, and they go, "Oh, don't forget this! Don't forget they can't do Ziplocs in kindergarten. They can't open their straw, the banana. They can't open the banana, and that's okay. I show them the crack trick, or stick your finger and rip it open trick. So there's so many little things in that young children. It's just they're so hilarious. Okay, just when we ended school in the fall, the kids were all drinking their little sucky drink things there. You suck on it, has a little lip, and they were sounding like dolphins. Okay, so they all did it. They all started doing. It would have been the perfect TikTok video, but it was so funny. It was like we're all dying laughing, and they're going. it was just so precious. Fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
If you tried to get them to do that, they wouldn't do it. Like it's.
Oh, exactly. I almost forgot. I wanted to show you something I came up with, but I put a stop to it because I had to take a break. I've got these finger families. Okay, I gave away a whole bunch of them, and they were colored. I've got mini ones too, little mini finger families. And these guys, you can sit and move them around, and but I donated a bunch of them, and then I said, oh, it's too much for me to do all this, so I had to take a step back. My website, it says upcoming this, that. I'm tired. I'm grandma, so I'm hoping that some traditional publisher will pick me up and let this thing do what it needs to do. It really is a great idea, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully somebody's listening to this and watching this on YouTube, and they can get in touch with you about it.
I'm just honored to have created this wonderful, brought them to life and let them go. I've got they just got so much potential.
Yeah, and you're such an inspiration, Linda, because it's great that you've got your book there, and you're not just leaving it at the book, because that's given me ideas as well for my book. Because as you probably know, I have a children's book as well.
Yes, I looked it up on Google and put an order
so
in.
There's other stuff to do as well. You can actually add it. You can add like what you've done, little videos and all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So thanks very much for giving me the ideas.
Oh, I'm happy to help. I'm all about helping. I'm one of those helpers, givers. I like to help. Yeah, I'm not a martyr neither. I just like to help. My father once said to me, Linda, why do you have to help everybody? What do you mean why? There's no reason why, Dad. I like to help people, make me feel good in my heart. I got energy.
Exactly.
I'm strong. I used to be a bodybuilder. I can do this. There's no reason, but as according to certain religions, I'm going straight to heaven for doing good deeds.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Feels good, right? Feels good. And it's not about me. It just feels good. So
it's much easier to do a good turn than a bad turn, like they say,
I was bullied all my life. I had buck teeth. I was Big Ethel. I was beaten up. Literally, I was tall, skinny with buck teeth, and they thought I was stupid. So I was like, I had a lot of things to face, but it turned me into a very compassionate, loving person. I didn't turn poo-poo. I always say, don't go poo-poo, please. Like my husband, we're both 60. Well, he will be 60. I'm older. I just turned 60 in March. Proud of it and can't wait for the next 40 years. I just punched myself in the chin because I'm Italian and French. So we do this a lot. I hurt my nostril earlier. Like doing that. I forgot.
You mean 55 years? You mean 55 years, yeah?
Yeah. 55 and still alive. Every year is a blessing because we're not looking up from our grave. People don't complain about the weather. The weather is beautiful. I'd rather feel a slate on my face than somebody walking over my grave. My poor husband, who's a wonderful man, my first husband, died at 32 of leukemia, and boy, he didn't want to go. He did not want to go. He says, why would I want to go? He used to tell me, Linda, be careful. I need you. Because, I hear I want to go bungee jumping, this, that. But I put my life aside for many years, and that was okay.
Yeah.
Because it came back to me. It came back to me, right? The goodness came back to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's a great, I'm glad, and I really hope it does really well for you. The books, they're absolutely brilliant, Linda. Really,
I hope
really
so.
good.
You can only get this book from me. Go to dollypopbooks.ca and I even started a business. I got a little business thing and the whole bit. I did everything because I was on a roll and I was learning and I was doing. But I also like my nice quiet life in the forest too, right? Like Jim Carrey said. Why don't you act anymore? I love my life in the forest and my gardens and my this. And that's that's so true. It really
what an actor he is.
Especially when you hit your 50s and 60s and you go, ooh, I like that. You know what the best thing I ever learned to do, Mark? Shut my mouth. And not say everything I have to say and let other people talk. And not have to tell everybody, just shut my mouth. And if I have little thoughts in my head of jealousy or negativity, shut your mouth. It's been years since my 40s, since I had the burnout. Just shut your mouth, And boy, my life has gotten great since I learned to shut my mouth.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It really is. A lot of people should learn to shut their mouth. Just don't say it. Don't.
Exactly. Yeah. count to 100 or something, or 10.
Yeah, just I sit on my hands. That works. When I was in college, I was like, oh, I started sitting on my hands so I can listen. No, and also learn that you can think as you're talking, you can train your brain to think. And my college professor said, you can do that. I'm like, really? You really can? She was, yes, you can. So I started practicing because I'm proactive. And that's cognitive therapy. I started practicing. And now I can think before I speak. I still put my foot in my mouth, but that's okay. It's all in kindness.
Yeah. So what's next for you, Linda? What's next on the horizon?
Well, I have that second finger families, but I got to get this to go first, like I use all my, like I got a fancy credit card, and because I applied for it and got it, had to all the, bootstrapping it, right? I bootstrapped it the whole way, but I had a little bit of seed money, and the next one costs money to publish books, right? So plus I want to donate the money to people who need it. So anyways, I want to get this to publishers and get it out there, and maybe somebody hopefully will pick it up and say, hey, that's a great idea. And then we can go from there. Definitely have many, because I taught kindergarten for 10 years. I've been at the Montessori school for 7 years. I didn't fit in there, although I did it well because I'm too funny and Montessori is more strict. So I went into the Catholic board, and they love funny. So, and before that was Children's Aid Society. I've been working with children forever. And I had babies at 18, 21. And then I was wild. So I'm not perfect, I tell you, but I think I have a pretty good grasp on what children like and need.
Yeah.
And trust me, they think so too, because they run to me everywhere I go. Strange children are always hopping in my arms.
You remind me of that film. Did you ever see that film Patch Adams? Did you? Where
yes. Oh yes.
Oh, what a movie! Adams. Like, and it's such a true story as well.
Yes, and that particular movie, sir, the end of it not really traumatized me, but when I worked for the Mental Health Association, I thought of that end of that video because I was doing cold calls and stuff, and it burned me out. I can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but I couldn't. So but I'm a good advocate, boy. I could talk, but I don't want to sell unless it's positive attitude. I can do that very well. Or inspiration. I once was told I should go out and be an inspirational speaker, and boy, oh boy, could I do it. But do I want to? If it's on this, yes, certainly. I can inspire the bleep out of lots of people. But I'm not going to go traveling and leave my family. I can't do that. I'm too important to them, and they're too important to me. Right? And that's those choices again. So.
Now, Linda, it's been great talking to you. Thanks a million for coming on, and I wish you all the best going forward with all you do.
Thank you so much.
All your excellent stuff you do.
Let's hope that this helps. And I'm going to certainly. I've already put an order in for your book, and
you're very kind.
I hope I can come back on and talk someday.
Oh, we definitely.
Maybe with my next book.
Be brilliant.
I hope everybody takes care. Up there.
So thanks a million, Linda LaRouche, isn't it? LaRouche.
Linda LaRouche.
Got that right? Rouge. Yeah, we got it right.
Linda LaRouche is a funny name.
Brilliant. So thanks everybody for listening to today's podcast, Mark's Motivational Podcast, Authors Tuesday. And thanks, Linda. Talk to you real soon.
Have a great day, and thanks a lot. Tickety boo.
Woo. Thank you. Cool. Hello everyone, Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world.